start playing. Okay, good? Ready? One, ready? One, two, one, two, three. All right, everybody ready? One, two, three. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to all the live streamers, everyone on Facebook, good morning. Standing outside the door of love and mercy, you wondered if there's a place here for you. You know there's peace inside, but you're still searching for someone who understands the pain that you've been through. Well, the doors are locked, the lights are on. What are you waiting for? Come on in, welcome home. You are loved, you belong here now. No matter where you've been, come on in. You'll find a place of rest in the arms of spirit. God's waiting so long for your homecoming day. God knows the peace you seek and this hurt you're feeling. Spirit wants to hold you and to wipe your tears away. When the Father waits with open arms, God is calling out your name. Come on in, welcome home. You are loved, you belong here now. No matter where you've been, come on in. So there's room enough in the house of love for someone just like you. Come on no matter where you've been. Come on in, welcome home. You are loved, you belong here now. No matter where you've been, come on in, yeah. Come on in, welcome home. You are loved, you belong here now. No matter where you've been, come on in, welcome home. You are loved, you belong here now. No matter where you've been, come on in. Yes.
And good morning, everybody. Good morning, musicians. And we've got John Guerin back there manning the live stream. Our Director of Operations, Susie Muth, is on Facebook. And I'm Bev Spivey, happy to be with you here today as I join my husband, Reverend Lawrence Palmer, in ministering here at Unity of Pompano Beach. And these days, we're all about ministering virtually. So come on in to our virtual sanctuary this morning as we envision each and every one of you sitting here, being with us. And we look forward to all of the many weeks and months to come as we venture into this new way of being. So this morning, our musicians, I'll introduce them to you, or introduce you to our Director of Music, James McCoy.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. We have Mr. John Rose with us once again at the piano. We have Mr. Orlando Machado at the drum set. And our featured soloist, Karina Iglesias, she needed the day off today, but she will be returning with us next week.
Never fear, they still have wonderful music for us, as each one of them is a professional musician. And we have been blessed by James's direction and Orlando and John these many years now. Going on 10. Oh, we're in 10.
Season 10.
So welcome, everybody. Right now, every year, we have a unity theme that is worldwide throughout the unity movement. And the theme for this year has been perfect vision, seeing through a spiritual lens. Little did we know that we would have this challenge when that theme was chosen. So we began in January talking about lifting up our insights, lifting up our perceptions, lifting up our attitudes, to look at life in a broader sense through a spiritual lens. It may not be fun to do that sometimes as we get angered or troubled or frustrated or even not feeling well. But indeed, as we lift up our thoughts, we not only lift up ourselves, we lift up others around us. So this month, the focus on lifting up our thoughts is play, believe it or not. It is such a help to bring that playful attitude into everything you do, all of your interactions, every moment of your day. So the theme has an affirmation, and that affirmation is, I play in the zone, free and unrestrained. I play in the zone, free and unrestrained. And you'll hear more about that when Lawrence brings us his message in just a little while. But let's have a centering prayer as we close our eyes now and feel this time that we devote to an hour of introspection, spiritual community, gathering virtually, knowing that our energy together is palpable. We can feel each other here. We can feel tendrils of our energy out into our community, out into our world, as we uplift our attitude, as we uplift our very presence, our very consciousness, into bringing the light of God into every moment. And so it is. Amen.
I'd like to express some gratitude in song this morning, saying I'm thankful, so grateful. I'm one in the spirit all around me. I'm thankful, so grateful. I trust in God. Let's all sing. I'm thankful, so grateful. I am one in the spirit all around me. I'm thankful, so grateful. I trust in God. I'm thankful, so grateful. I I am one in the Spirit all around me. I'm thankful, so grateful. I trust in God. I surrender, I surrender. I am one in the Spirit all around me. I surrender, I surrender. I trust in God. I surrender, I surrender. I am one in the Spirit all around me. I surrender, I surrender. I trust in God. I'm thankful, so grateful. I am one in the Spirit all around me. I'm thankful, so grateful. I trust in God. One more time. I'm thankful, so grateful. I am one in the Spirit all around me. I'm thankful, so grateful. I trust in God. I trust in God. I trust in God.
And I'm so thankful and grateful for each and every one of you tuning in today, whether you're on Facebook, which is Unity of Pompano Spiritual Center, or whether you're on our website watching our live stream, our website, unitypompanobeach.org. So all of you know that on that website is where you can find our contact information to be in touch with the office about anything, or to be in touch with Lawrence and me for a consultation or prayer request. Speaking of prayer requests, there is a link there for prayer requests. And we have a dedicated team of chaplains, 17 of them right now, who are standing by each and every day in prayer with all of us. All of the prayer requests that come in, they handle individually, holding in thought, holding in prayer that request. And then in general terms, they hold our whole spiritual community here and beyond in our Fort Lauderdale, South Florida community, our state, and the nation. So take advantage of Unity Prayer. If you're not familiar with it, there are links on the website that will tell you all about how we view prayer, affirmative prayer, positive prayer, being in touch with that Spirit of God within us. So take advantage of all things on our website are listed there, what we have going on. And just so you know, we put out 6 p.m. on happenings. Of course, now with technology, you can schedule things, right? So Susie works up the happenings during the week, and then it's published at 6 o'clock by email on Thursday evenings. Happenings will give you what's going on for the Sunday and everything else in the week, and sometimes features about special things that are going on throughout the Unity movement. There's little videos on there and affirmations. So look for happenings. If you're not receiving it and you know that you are on our mailing list, please look for that in your junk mail and set to receive from Unity of Pompano. If you're not receiving it and you've checked your spam, go ahead and use that contact link to notify Susie in the office, and she'll help research. Along those same lines, we make every effort to send you the Zoom link for whatever you are registered for. And all of our classes and activities here on Zoom virtually do require a registration, so we keep that meeting, event, whatever it is, we keep it secure. So if you're having difficulties getting in with your Zoom link, same thing there. Please check your spam to make sure you have the most current link. And again, if you're having difficulty in spite of finding the most current link, please contact Susie in the office, and she is very happy to help you with that. So that being said, let's look at what we do have going on this week. We have a new posting for you, SEE by the Sea. SEE stands for Spiritual Education and Enlightenment, or is it enrichment? Oh, I always get this confused. Enrichment. Thank you, James. spiritual education and enrichment. We have done this as our third year. It's called an intensive week, where most of our Unity classes go on a Tuesday night or another night for 5 or 6 weeks running to have a total of 10 class hours. What we do now, and have done for the last 2 years, is have a wonderful event. We've had it here, physically present, some people coming in from out of state, others of our local community coming on in and having classes all day long, and a lot of fun in between with socializing and snacks and lunches. That may not be possible this year, so rather than wait till the last minute to decide, we're coming out with the information now. SEE Week will be 2 virtual classes, Monday through Friday, beginning Monday, October 26th. Lawrence will be teaching the first class, which is metaphysics. It will begin at 9 o'clock and end at 10:50. I have to think of my time. They're 2-hour classes, 9 o'clock to 10:50. And then at 11 o'clock, I will be teaching a course called The Christ. And that will be starting at 11 for 2 hours. And then that will conclude, the SEE week. But we'll do that every day, Monday through Friday. This is an opportunity for many of you to be able to take one course, maybe 2. So look online. We won't announce this every week, but the posting will be there on our website. And again, contact us if you have any questions. Throughout the Unity movement, these courses are priced in such a way that you get Unity credit if you like it. We have given an early bird special, so it's $65 per course until September 1st. So please take advantage of that. Now, for this week, Lawrence is still teaching his class on becoming a hyperhuman, and that's on Tuesday nights at 7. It will be this week and next week, so there's still plenty of time for you to come on in. You need not have attended the first 2 to come now to the remaining classes. But those who have been with us, we invite you to stick with us these next 2 weeks. Go ahead and register for that through our website, unitypompanobeach.org. The link is right there. You will find it, the graphic for becoming hyperhuman, and sign up for that. And then we also have our ongoing weekly meditation is on Thursday nights at 7. Again, please register for that. Our wonderful prayer chaplain leader, Dina Shimmick, is the host of this. And different prayer chaplains provide the meditation every week. We have found this to be a wonderful way midweek to keep yourself prayed up, as we say. And then lastly is our power hour, but certainly not last. Again, we're going on 10 years now of 9:30 to 10:30 every Sunday morning. Our wonderful licensed Unity teacher, Cynthia Roberts, prepares all week to have some discussion material for you. That too is on Zoom, and you will find the sign up on our website. So as you see, in spite of things being virtual and not the way we had been used to them, this is a new day, and we're here in it and happy to have you join us in anything.
Because I like Saturday better, and lo and behold, it's the same way this week. I like yesterday's daily word, which was playful, better than today's, but go ahead and read today's anyway. But here we go. Word for today, as I declare, is playful. I bring a playful spirit to my day. I have the power to determine how I see the world and the attitude I bring to my life. I decide to bring a joyfully playful energy to my life and to my relationships. I may share a joke or funny story or even a quick laugh with someone I meet. The act of play itself is an essential aspect of my life. Just as I bring my skills and energy to the work I do and to the responsibilities that I must meet, so too do I engage my playful nature with enthusiasm and joy. Play feeds my body, spirit, and soul. I feel light and happy when I make time to do the things that spark my creativity, challenge my mind, and exercise my body. My playful nature blesses me at every level of my being. And from Jeremiah 30:19, out of them shall come thanksgiving and the sound of merrymakers.
Right now, we'd like to begin a time of prayer and meditation by singing, I Am at Peace. I am at peace, I am at peace. I am one with the Spirit. I am calm, I am still. I am doing God's will. I am in peace, I am in peace. I am one with the Spirit, and I dwell in the presence of the Lord. I am in peace, I am in peace. I am one with the Spirit. I am calm, I am still. I am doing God's will. I am in peace, I am at peace. I am one with the Spirit, and I dwell in the presence of the Lord. And I dwell in the presence of the Lord.
I invite you now, wherever you are, to take this time to be still. Allow your body to settle into that very comfortable and familiar position. Allow yourself to be immersed in the stillness, enfolded, embraced. I invite you to activate your imagination. Find a place in your mind and your heart where you can create laughter. Imagine a scene that would promote that. A favorite place in nature, a favorite place in your home, maybe a place you've never been before. And you might imagine yourself alone or with a group of people, but you begin to hear laughter. It doesn't really matter why the laughter is happening, but it's there. That energy of joy is moving around you and through you. And you find yourself laughing and those around you. And I would invite you to take it even further and imagine what it would be like to hear God laughing. Imagine all the angels laughing. Imagine all those who are on the other side of the veil laughing along with you. Imagine how that would feel, how it would sound. And allow that feeling and that sound to permeate your body. And in that context, we will join together in moving into the stillness, immersed in that joy and light and love and peace and power. And let us be ministered to by the laughter. And now as you prepare to move your awareness to your body, you know that you can bring with you that laughter, that energy, that light, and hold it in your mind, in your heart, in your body. And in this coming week, as you choose to, you can recall that and experience it all over again and be blessed all over again. So feel yourself nourished, healed, transformed, sustained by that pure presence of Spirit that can manifest itself in so many ways. So now, with a deep sense of gratitude for this opportunity of being together in this way across the miles, I invite you to take a deep, slow breath in through your nose. Hold it for a moment. Exhale slowly through your mouth. And when you're ready, open your eyes and let us sing together, Alleluia.
Alleluia, 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 alleluia.
Well, it is good to be with you today. Bev and I were just talking. It struck me in the middle of the meditation. If you're ever feeling a little bit down, just get on your computer and Google soundtrack of babies laughing. There's several of them out there, and if you can listen to that without laughing, you need to go to the doctor. I had one on a cassette tape one time that I used to listen to over and over, and that worked for me wonderfully to get picked up when you're feeling down. So find some ways to laugh during this day, especially. Now, as Bev mentioned, this month we're talking about play. And I mentioned to you last week I'm using a book called Deep Play by Diane Ackerman as a basis for the sermons and getting information from. And there are three ways that she defines deep play. One, which I spoke about last week, is a state of unself-conscious engagement with our surroundings. And I translated that into being fully present in the moment. And I'll have to tell you that when the time comes that we get back together again, be sure to ask Bev about the jicama dance. When we talk about a state of unself-conscious engagement, her jicama dance is that embodied. And it's a long story, but it was wonderful. I'll tell you more about it later. So one definition I spoke about last week was a state of unself-conscious engagement with our surroundings, being fully present in every moment. A second definition that I'll speak about today is an exalted zone of transcendence over time. That is deep play. And I'll be speaking about that today. And next week I'll speak about deep play as a state of optimal creative capacity. I'm looking forward to that one too. So this morning we're going to look at an exalted zone of transcendence over time. And I'll say more about what that really means in a minute. But one thing that I'm sure you're aware of is that time is relative. It makes a difference in how you're looking at it as to what time really is. I found somewhere someone had written, if you want to know the value of 1 year, just ask a student who just failed a course. If you want to know the value of 1 month, ask a mother who gave birth to a premature baby. If you want to know the value of 1 hour, ask the lovers who are waiting to meet. If you want to know the value of 1 minute, ask the person who just missed the bus. If you want to know the value of 1 second, ask the person who just escaped death in a car accident. And if you want to know the value of 1/100th of a second, ask the athlete who won a silver medal in the Olympics. Now, as we think about time, in the English language, we have one word for time which covers everything. It's very much like the illustration of the Eskimos in snow. I've heard some exaggerated tales about that, but I know that there are multiple words that Eskimos use for snow to identify the exact texture and everything else. In the English language, we have one word, snow. Frozen water is snow, and that's it. So we're kind of limited there. In a similar fashion, in the Greek language, there are at least 3 specific words for love. In the English language, there is 1. And so is it with this matter of time. The Greeks have 2 different words for time, and we're going to look at both of those this morning. The first one is called chronos. And you'll recognize that root word chronos. You probably, if you have a very, very expensive watch, it's not really a watch, it's a chronograph. It's a time teller. So this matter of chronos is tick-tock time. This is what happens on the clock. It's what happens when you look at your watch and you see the second hand clicking away the seconds there. It's an outer experience. It's an objective experience. And time can be very constrictive. You have 5 minutes to get to somewhere that's really going to take you 10 minutes to get there. So sometimes we feel imprisoned with the limitations and the restrictions that time can put on us, the tick-tock time, the chronos time puts on us. But deep play offers us an opportunity to move from chronos time to the other kind of Greek time, which is kairos. Now, kairos time means the right time, a critical time, an opportune moment. And kairos is very inner experienced. It's a matter of consciousness. It's a matter of being subjective. So chronos is that tick-tock time. Kairos is the right, critical, the opportune time. Now, as we look back in history, we find that in the late 1700s, the labor movement began, being concerned about workers' rights and the conditions under which they work on. That began in Kairos time. The labor movement didn't begin at 4 o'clock in the afternoon on March 26th. It began at the right time. The civil rights movement, which began in 1955, didn't happen at a specific time on a specific day. It happened at the right time, the Kairos time. The Me Too movement that began a while back didn't start in the afternoon on a particular day. It began at the right time, at the critical moment, at the opportune moment. The Black Lives Matter movement did not start at an appointed time in the afternoon or the morning. It started at the right time, when the time was ready, when it was supposed to happen. So we begin to understand how this affects our life, that we live most of the time unconsciously on chronos time. We live by our watches. Many years ago, back in the olden days, as my son said to me, my son had the audacity one time to ask me, he said, "Dad, did they have color television when you were little back in the olden days?" I refrained from striking him when he did that. But anyway, thinking back to those old days, I remember the first time I got a beeper. You remember beepers that we wore? And they had a clock on it. So when my daughter got married, we were going to be gone for 2 weeks. And she was getting married in the middle of that 2 weeks. So I took my watch off and I said, I'm not putting my watch back on until I come back to work and go to work. So for 2 weeks, I had my watch off. It was wonderful. I had my beeper, so I knew what time it was if I really needed to know. And then I got back to work and I put my watch on and I kept saying, what is this thing on my arm? Just bugged the daylights out of me. So I really stopped wearing a watch until Bev gave me this one, and it is so nice. I wear it all the time. But we're so often bound by tick-tock time. It determines when we go and where we go and how long we stay where we are, all kinds of things. When we go to bed, when we get up, it just rules us many times, and we feel often imprisoned. And we are not as aware of Kairos time. We're not so aware of that right time, that critical time, the opportune moment that is around us all the time. So part of what I'm encouraging us to do is to begin to shift our thinking from being completely bound by chronos time. You can't really do away with it because it's important. We base so much of our world on an orderly progression of things, and there's nothing inherently wrong with that until we become slaves to it. But what we can do is begin to shift our awareness, begin to shift our consciousness away from making chronos time the priority in our life and beginning to include that awareness of kairos time, the right moments, the critical moments, because those don't happen on schedule. They don't happen when somebody says they're going to. They happen when they happen. Now, all of us have had, to some degree, some kind of experience of this transcendence over time that we're saying is deep play. I have a couple of stories to illustrate that. When I was a teenager, It wasn't long after I'd gotten my driver's license. I was driving down the highway on one of the main highways between where I lived in town, and I noticed there was a horse out in the pasture on the right side of the road. And the horse started running and jumped over the fence, into the ditch, up on the shoulder of the road, and right in front of a pickup. And the pickup hit the horse, and the horse went up in the air and landed on the truck, and then fell over on the side of the road. Now, the interesting thing about that is the moment I saw the horse running toward the fence, everything went into super slow motion. It was like watching a video in super slow motion, and this horse moved just very gradually, looked like it was floating over the fence, up the ditch, on the shoulder, in front of the truck, got hit, went up in the air, fell back down on the side of the road. Now, that probably lasted 15 seconds, but my perception of it was about 10 minutes. It was just amazing. I mean, I watched the whole thing happening, and as soon as the horse fell on the side of the road and I pulled over to go around the truck, then everything went back to regular time. Never had that happen to me before, and never since. And being a naive teenager, I was a little bit spooked by it. It scared me a little bit. I've come to appreciate it since then. But that was one of the times when time went a little crazy for me, and I was out of TikTok time. I don't know where Chronos time was during that time, but it was gone because everything was moving super slowly. Another illustration on the other extreme of things is that, and this happened more than once to me, that I would leave church sometimes after a meeting at night and when I was tired, and I remember pulling out of the driveway of the church, and the next thing I knew I was pulling up in the driveway at my house. And I lived about 15 minutes away from church, and I remembered absolutely nothing between pulling out of the driveway in the church and pulling up in my driveway at home. So something happened there. I mean, time went like this. Whereas with the horse getting hit, it went the other direction. This one got compressed completely. And that happened more than one time, and I got kind of used to it and thought it was okay. But that first time it happened, something that was very interesting, I just want to mention briefly, and this is a subject for a whole class at some point. It took me about 15 minutes to get home on a good time with traffic and everything else. That first night when I left the church and suddenly was at home, only 5 minutes went by on my watch. I explain that one I can't. And that's a little spooky, I know. But we see from that time is malleable, that time is flexible, and time is relative for us. And it's important for us to be able, through deep play, to be able to choose to experience this exalted zone of transcendence over time, to be deliberate about it, and make sure that things happen not necessarily always by the tick-tock clock time, but by the right time, the critical time, the opportune moment. They have done studies and have discovered, and it didn't matter what kind of work it was, all the way from executives to assembly line workers to manual laborers, that people who hold in mind a sense of kairos time rather than chronos time are more efficient at work. You would think that somebody who went into work and said, okay, I got 5 minutes to accomplish this project, and then I got 10 minutes to accomplish this one, and I got to eat lunch at 12:01 and be back at 12:15, that kind of thing. You'd think that those people would be more productive, but they're not. As a whole, people who allow themselves to be immersed in kairos time, say, I'm going to do this, and it's going to happen here, and not worry about the other time, are more efficient and effective in their work, and they have fewer accidents. I found that fascinating. I thought, if this could happen in that context, why can't we live that way and bring this into our spiritual life and be much more aware of the kairos time rather than the chronos time, being much more aware of this transcendence that we have within us to use that over time as it moves along. Now, I would remind you about our affirmation for this month, which is, I play in the zone, free and unrestrained. What if we entered into all of life with that in mind? I play in the zone, free and unrestrained. I'm going to live in kairos time as much as I can. Now, I want to give you some homework here, is to take that possibility of playing in the zone, of creating the experience of this zone of transcendence over time in two areas. One is a matter of our service, how we serve other people, and whether we do it as work or whether we do it as an expression of our spirituality. What if we are, as we talked about last week, being fully present in that experience, but also to realize that we have no limits, there are no constraints as far as time goes, and to slip into that zone of transcendence over time and do what is ours to do and let the time take care of itself. I fully believe that if we do that, go into service from a position of deep play, it'll make a difference for us and the people to whom we are ministering, the people who we are serving. Now, a second area that we can bring deep play into is prayer and meditation. Now, I had a conversation with somebody recently about this, and they were saying, what's the difference in prayer and meditation? And they were very concerned because they didn't have a definition for prayer and a definition for meditation and a way to do prayer and a way to do meditation. And where I've come to, I guess I'm getting to that age where you really begin to think for yourself and worry less and less about what anybody else says, which might be a dangerous thing, but it's a lot more fun that way. But where I've come to is that instead of saying, well, prayer is talking to God and meditation is listening to God, prayer is giving and meditation is receiving, and trying to decide, well, I'm doing something right here, but which one am I doing? Instead of getting into all of that, to me it's all the same. It's all the same. Prayer is communion with Spirit. Meditation is communion with Spirit. And what happens in that communion is not nearly so important. It is recognizing that it is entering into that sweet connection with Spirit that we have. And whether we're speaking or listening, whether we're giving or receiving, we are present, enfolded in that pure presence of Spirit with that experience of prayer and meditation all at the same time. It comes to mind an illustration from one of the Star Trek movies, Deep Space Nine, not a movie, but a TV series called Deep Space Nine. There was a guy who was a shapeshifter. One of the characters was a shapeshifter, meaning he could transform himself into anything, any kind of shape or whatever else. His name was Odo. And periodically, Odo had to let himself go back to a liquid shape to rest. And he found at one point, he thought he was the only shapeshifter left, but at some point he found some family members, if you will, that were also shapeshifters. And he discovered that there was this place they called the Great Link. It was like a huge lake. And he would walk out into this lake and just melt into the oneness. And I thought, what an incredible little... There's a lot of metaphysics in science fiction if you're open to it, if you really look for it there. But Odo would go into this Great Link and become one with all of them. They individually could come back out again and manifest in some form or another, but for a while they were absolutely one. And to me, this is what happens in prayer and meditation, is that we enter into that place where we truly are that oneness with Spirit, whatever that may mean. And interestingly enough, when you come into that place, it's not so important that you understand it anymore. It's not so important, how did I get here? What do I do now? What do I do to get out? What kind of music do I listen to? What kind of position in my body? All those things are unimportant at that point. It's just a matter of however you do it, entering into that communion, that connection with Spirit. And what if we did that went into that with a consciousness of deep play? What if we went into prayer and meditation, whatever it is that means to us, went into it, realizing that we're going to be outside of time. We're going to be beyond time. We're going to be in Kairos time, the right time. And one of the things I do now is that when I meditate, and of course you got, with your phone, you've got a little computer with you all the time. And what I usually do is find the music I want to listen to and then set a timer that will go off at a particular time when I need to get up and go about my business. But once I enter meditation, I completely forget about time. I forget about how many minutes I'm going to be here and how many minutes have elapsed, how many minutes I've got left or anything else. I'm going into meditation, and at some point I'll come out, whatever that time is. And that works for me very well. And so that way, when I do that, I can let go of Chronos time. I can forget about it, not worry about it, and enter deliberately into that Kairos time, that right time, that critical time, that opportune moment that time represents in that context. And I can enter into it with this consciousness of play, the consciousness of being fully present right now and being aware of this exalted zone of transcendence over time, as the author says. So I want to give you that as homework. This week, be very deliberate about when you serve, go into service from a place of deep play. Go into service with an idea of Kairos time, the right time, not the TikTok time, but the right time. And also when you go into prayer and meditation, whatever that is for you, however that shakes out for you, go into that experience from deep play. And go into that experience from Kairos time and not Chronos time, and watch to see what happens. Declare a time-free zone for yourself to operate in. Your experience may be like I had both of them, but it may be that time expands for you in some way, and suddenly you can find, if you don't pay attention to time, you can do twice as much as you do when you're constricted by time. Or it might be that an extended period of time collapses back in on what feels like a very short time. It'll be interesting to see how that works out for you. So your homework is to take deep play into service and into prayer and meditation. Let go of Chronos time, embrace Kairos time, and watch to see what happens. And I want to close with a quote from Charles Fillmore. Time is the measure that we give to passing events. The only power in time is what we impart to it. When we get into the understanding of the absolute, we take our freedom from all bondage of time and declare that time shall no more enter into the substance of our mind, our body, or affairs. So I say to you once again, I play in the zone, free and unrestrained. God bless you, my friends.
As Lawrence was speaking, I was smiling about the many times we've been together here physically, laughing, fellowship time. That's really a major reason why we haven't attempted to bring you in here with distances and masks, because it wouldn't be the kind of service where we really do enjoy the interaction, the handshakes, the hugs, fellowshipping with food together, and a lot of laughter. So bring laughter into your life. That is itself a form of meditation. And speaking of laughter, if you do your shopping with Amazon, please go first to smile.amazon.com and get signed up if you haven't already. That's their charitable giving. If you put in Unity Church of Pompano Beach, they have us on file there, and they send a small portion of your shopping dollars here to Unity of Pompano. It's a wonderful way to give without it costing you anything at all. And it's that joy of giving that bubbles up and does go towards really your whole prosperity consciousness, making you feel good. And of course, we are so thankful that you are continuing your giving here. It enables us to keep our staff, our musicians, and keep things going here as we normally have been. So although June was a little bit lower in our receipts, March, April, and May were pretty much on target, meeting all our expenses. And we look forward to all of the months that are going to come. No matter what our services are, we are here for you. Please donate if you can. There is a button on our website at unitypompanobeach.org. Every one of our classes is an opportunity to add dollars in donation form, and just feel free to send a check to the church. There are many ways to give. Your bill pay set up on your bank will give a regular payment to us or a one-time, and that's no cost to you or to us either. So please join the fellowship of giving, but do it with joy. Feel good about you doing whatever part you can. We do appreciate each and every one of you and each and every gift. So blessings to you. And with that, today, we're going to use our usual Unity closing prayer, which is known by our poet laureate, James Dillett Freeman, wrote it a number of years ago. It's used throughout the whole Unity worldwide movement. Lawrence is going to join me. And I know so many of you watching us today know the Unity prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds us. We are the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. We are the love of God. The power of God protects us. We are the power of God. The presence of God watches over us. We are the presence of God. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other, perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be our joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment, peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
Blessings are falling, are falling, are falling. Blessings are falling like a sweet, sweet rain. Blessings are falling, are falling, are falling on me. Beauty is falling, is falling, is falling. Beauty is falling like a sweet, sweet rain. Beauty is falling, is falling, is falling on me. Oh Lord, I receive your blessing. Oh Lord, I receive your grace. Oh Lord, I will dance forevermore. Oh Lord, I receive your blessing. Oh Lord, I receive your grace. Oh Lord, I will dance forevermore. Oh Lord, I receive your blessing. Oh Lord, I receive your grace. Oh Lord, I will dance forevermore. Oh Lord, I receive your blessing. Oh Lord, I receive